Cade Rivers was 16 years old, curious, polite, and always excited to see new places with his father. His father worked as a mechanic for a human company that often repaired alien stations. Because of that job, Cade had grown up traveling across space. Every year he saw new worlds, new faces, new species, and completely new cultures. He loved it. He felt like every station had a different story, and he always wanted to know more. But nothing in his life prepared him for what happened the day he arrived at Zeta 9, an old alien mining station far from any busy trade route. The moment their small ship docked, Cade stepped out with a smile. The station smelled like metal, dust, and air fresheners. There were many kinds of aliens walking around, tall ones with thin arms, short ones with glowing eyes, blue ones with long horns, and others he didn't even know the names of. Many of them stared at him. Some had never seen a human teen before. On most stations, humans were common, but here humans rarely visited. Cade didn't mind. He waved at a few workers and followed his father down the platform. His father had tools in both hands and walked fast, already thinking about repairs. Cade walked slower, looking everywhere. The walls had strange patterns carved into them, old symbols that looked far older than the station itself. He wanted to stop and ask someone what they meant, but his father kept calling him to hurry. As they entered the main hall, a group of alien teens stood near a control booth. They were around Cade's age, maybe a little older. Their skin was a light green and their eyes were bright yellow. They whispered to each other when they saw him. Cade heard a soft laugh from them but didn't think much of it. Kids everywhere were the same. They liked to joke, stare, and be curious. But these alien teens were not just curious, they were bored. The mining station had no entertainment, no games, no hangout spots, no sports area. When something new happened, everyone noticed, and a human teen was very new. One of them nudged the others and walked toward Cade with a grin. Cade noticed them now and gave a friendly smile. He thought they were coming to talk or maybe ask questions. He had met friendly aliens many times, so he was not worried. But the first alien teen had a different idea. He stopped right in front of Cade and tilted his head. His friends laughed behind him, waiting for something funny. Cade didn't understand what they wanted. "Human," the alien teen said, "you are small." Cade laughed lightly. "Maybe a little. I'm still growing." The alien teen suddenly flicked Cade's shoulder with his fingers. It wasn't a hard hit, but it was surprising. Cade stumbled back a step. The alien teenagers laughed louder. It was their kind of joke. Push the newcomer, watch him get scared, then laugh. Cade tried to stay calm. "Hey, I'm not here to cause trouble." Another alien teen joined in and pushed him from the side. This time, Cade lost his balance. His foot hit the edge of a metal platform. He fell to his knees, and his hand scraped against a sharp piece of metal. He felt a sting. A small line of red appeared on his skin. It was only a tiny cut, nothing serious. But a few drops of his blood fell onto the metal floor. The station reacted instantly. The metal under him lit up with a bright white glow. A thin pattern hidden beneath the dust and scratches came alive. The glowing line spread across the ground like a wave of light, moving faster than Cade could understand. It jumped from one floor tile to another, then climbed up the walls, tracing ancient designs. The alien teens froze, their smiles gone. They stared at the light like they were watching something impossible. A few workers nearby shouted in alarm. Everyone in the hall stopped what they were doing. The glowing patterns grew brighter. A deep sound vibrated under their feet, like the station itself was waking from sleep. Cade stepped back and looked at his hand. The cut was small, but the reaction was enormous. He felt his heart beating fast. He didn't understand what was happening. The aliens stared at him with wide eyes. One of the teens whispered softly, "What did you do?" Cade shook his head. "I didn't do anything." Alarms turned on, but they weren't loud emergency alarms. They were slow, deep tones, like something ancient was being triggered. A voice came from the speakers, but the voice was not one used by the station workers. It sounded old, distorted, and powerful. Genetic key recognized. Human line detected. The entire hall fell silent. Workers looked at each other in shock. The alien teens backed away from Cade like he was dangerous. Cade felt confused and scared. His father finally arrived, running toward him. He had left his tools on the ground when the lights activated. "Cade, are you okay?" his father asked, grabbing his shoulders. "I'm fine. I just cut my hand. But the station—" Before Cade could finish, the glowing lines on the floor moved toward a large door at the end of the hall. The door was old and rusted, something no one had touched in hundreds of years. It shook, then unlocked itself with a heavy sound. The door slid open slowly, revealing a dark chamber filled with machines. The workers whispered among themselves. That door had never opened. Not once. The station had existed for centuries, and that room was considered sealed forever. Cade's father stared at the open chamber with disbelief. "This is impossible." The alien teens looked guilty now. They had only wanted to play a joke. They never imagined something like this could happen. One of them stepped forward, shaking a little. "We didn't mean to hurt him. We didn't know. His blood—" They couldn't even finish the sentence. Cade looked at the glowing chamber. He felt something pulling him toward it, like a strange, invisible force. He didn't want to go in, but he felt like the chamber was calling him. The voice returned from the speakers. "Human presence required. Step inside." Cade's father grabbed his arm. "No, wait, we don't know what's inside. We can call experts. We can wait." But the light from the floor started forming a line that traveled directly toward Cade's feet. It stopped right at his shoes, as if waiting for him. The alien station boss arrived, out of breath. He was a tall creature with 6 fingers on each hand and eyes like polished stones. "What is happening here?" he demanded. One worker pointed at Cade. "His blood triggered the ancient system." The station boss stared at Cade with a mix of fear and wonder. He slowly nodded. "We heard old stories about humans being connected to ancient technology, but we thought they were myths." Cade swallowed. "Do you want me to go inside?" The station boss looked around nervously. "The system wants you. No one else will be able to control it. The door will not stay open forever." Cade's father looked torn. He wanted to protect his son, but he also understood that something huge was happening. Something that involved Cade alone. After a long moment, his father took a deep breath. "Cade, I'll be right behind you. You won't be alone." Cade nodded. Slowly, he walked toward the glowing chamber. The lights on the floor brightened with every step he took. The station workers and alien teens watched silently. Inside the chamber, the air felt colder. The machines were shaped in ways Cade had never seen before. Curved metal, floating glass panels, glowing pillars that pulsed like hearts. A tall hologram flickered to life in the center of the room. It showed a map of the galaxy. Bright points of light blinked across it, connected by lines. Cade's father whispered, "This is not mining equipment. This is far older." The hologram shifted. A new symbol appeared. Simple, but clearly showing a human figure. It was placed at the center of all the lights. Cade stepped closer, his eyes wide. The hologram changed again, showing an old message written in a language he didn't recognize. But the system translated it automatically into basic speech. "Guardians of the human bloodline, we have waited for your return. A threat long forgotten may rise again." Cade's father stared in shock. "Guardians? Return? This doesn't make sense." Cade felt something else. The message didn't just sound old, it sounded urgent, like something dangerous had been silent for a long time, and now it was waking up. The hologram dimmed. The chamber's lights pulsed once like a heartbeat. Far above the station, in the darkness of space, something else pulsed at the same time. A signal had been sent, a signal that something ancient had been unlocked, and something far away heard it. The chamber voice spoke one more time, softer now, almost like a whisper. "Prepare." Cade stood still, his heart pounding, as the last light flickered across the galaxy map. Whatever waited out there had just been alerted. And now, it was coming. The chamber remained silent after the last whisper. Cade stood in the center of the glowing symbols, breathing slowly as the strange light washed over him. His father stayed close, his hand on Cade's shoulder, trying to understand everything that had just happened. Outside the chamber, the alien workers waited quietly. All of them seemed unsure whether they should move or speak. Nobody wanted to disturb something so ancient. Cade stared at the map floating in front of him. The small, blinking points spread across the entire galaxy. Some glowed softly, others pulsed with brighter light. But one point, far from the mining station, pulsed with a dark, heavy color. It didn't glow like the others. It flashed like a warning. Cade pointed at it. "Dad, what is that one?" His father stepped forward. "I don't know, but it doesn't look good." The hologram reacted to Cade's voice. The dark point enlarged, showing a huge shape, long, black, and surrounded by strange lines of energy. It looked like a giant ship made of shadows. The hologram began translating information in a soft, mechanical tone. "Ancient enemy vessel. Classification, unknown. Status, dormant until signal activation. Current state, reawakening." Cade's father tensed. "Reawakening? Because of what happened here?" The system responded before anyone else could answer. "Your presence reactivated the Guardian Protocol. The enemy vessel has detected the signal. It is now preparing to move." Cade's heart dropped. "Because of my blood?" The system flickered again as if thinking. "Because of your bloodline." Before Cade could process this, a loud alarm echoed through the station. This time it was the normal station alarm, sharper, faster, filled with urgency. The alien workers outside shouted orders. The alien teens who had joked earlier ran to the windows facing deep space. The station boss rushed into the chamber doorway. "We have detected something. A ship is approaching. Very big." Cade and his father exchanged looks. They both understood immediately. It had begun. They followed the station boss to the observation deck. Through the wide glass, the stars looked distant and quiet. But soon something else appeared, growing larger by the second. A dark shape, bigger than any transport ship they had seen, slowly came into view. Its surface had no lights. It looked like a piece of night sky moving by itself. The alien workers gasped. Some stepped back. Others whispered, "That is not a normal ship." "What is it made of?" It wasn't on the radar before. It appeared suddenly. The alien teens stared with wide, scared eyes. One of them whispered, "Did we cause this by hurting the human?" Cade heard it. He didn't blame them. They hadn't meant for this to happen. He stepped closer to the window. The large, dark vessel hovered just outside the station's shield. Its surface shifted gently, like shadows moving underwater. A voice crackled from the station's speakers. It wasn't the system voice. It wasn't a worker's voice. It was something else, deep, empty, and cold. "Human key detected." The alien workers froze. "Human presence required." The voice had no emotion, no softness. It sounded like it came from something that didn't understand life at all. Cade's father stepped in front of him protectively. "We don't answer it. We don't even talk to it." But the ship continued. "Prepare for release." No one in the station understood what that meant, but the words made every person feel colder. The station boss ordered the shields to full power. The energy fields brightened, forming a thick protective bubble around the station. Every alien worker ran to control panels, pushing buttons, shouting status updates. The station trembled as it powered up all defenses. But the dark vessel didn't attack. It simply remained still, scanning the station with invisible waves. The screens around the deck flickered. Some machines shut down. Others made strange noises. The enemy ship wasn't firing. It was trying to understand the station. Cade felt something vibrate inside his pocket. He reached in and pulled out a small, glowing chip. It looked like a tiny piece of the chamber's design. He didn't remember picking it up. Maybe it had fallen from one of the machines. Or maybe the chamber had given it to him. The moment he took it out, the chip floated above his hand and expanded into a band made of light. Before Cade could react, the band wrapped around his wrist without touching his skin. The aliens gasped. His father grabbed his arm in shock. "Cade, what is that?" Cade shook his head slowly. "It came from the chamber." The band glowed softly, fitting perfectly around his wrist. It didn't hurt. It felt warm, almost alive. The lights inside the band pulsed in sync with the glowing lines under the station floor. Suddenly, the band spoke in a calm tone. "Guardian access granted. Defense protocol online." The station boss stepped forward. "Can it help us?" Cade didn't know, but something inside him felt lighter, like the band was giving him courage. He raised his arm slightly. The band glowed brighter. The enemy ship outside shifted, as if noticing the change. The voice from the ship returned. "Human key active." The entire observation deck fell silent. "Releasing ancient seal." Before anyone could ask what that meant, the dark ship released a wave of energy. It wasn't an attack. It was a pulse, silent, invisible, but incredibly strong. The station's shields flickered. The lights dimmed. Machines shook. Everyone grabbed onto something to stay balanced. The alien teens screamed as control panels sparked. Workers shouted for backup power. Cade felt the energy pulse hit him too, but the band on his arm absorbed it. The band glowed so brightly it lit up the entire deck. The system inside the chamber spoke through the station speakers again. "Guardian command, activate counterwave." Cade didn't know how to do that. But the band responded to his thoughts. He raised his arm, and the band released a wave of light that spread through the station. The walls flashed. The floors lit up. Every symbol carved into the old metal glowed with new energy. The counterwave shot out of the station's shield like a bright pulse of light. It struck the enemy ship. The dark vessel shook, its shadow-like surface rippling. The alien workers gasped. The enemy ship pulled back slightly, confused. Cade felt the band send him information, simple, clear, easy to understand. It was like the device was teaching him what to do. He felt another pulse coming from the enemy ship, but this time, he stepped forward before it hit. He held up his arm, and the band responded with a stronger counterwave. The enemy ship stopped completely. For the first time, it seemed unsure. Cade's father watched with awe. "You're stopping it. You're actually stopping it." The station boss spoke carefully. "It fears the band, or it respects it. I'm not sure which." Another voice came from the enemy ship, this time softer. "Guardian strength detected." The enemy vessel paused, then slowly backed away from the station. It turned, drifting into the darkness of space. No attack, no explosion. It simply left, disappearing into the stars as silently as it had arrived. The entire station froze for a long moment. Then the alien workers let out loud breaths. Some collapsed to their knees. Others hugged each other. The alien teens looked at Cade with wide eyes, full of respect. One of them stepped forward shyly. We are sorry. We didn't know who you were." Cade smiled gently. "I didn't know either." The alien teen lowered his head. "You saved all of us. The station boss approached Cade and his father. Your son is connected to something far greater than this station. The ancient technology recognized him as a guardian. That means humans once protected the galaxy from threats like that ship. We owe your family our thanks. Cade felt overwhelmed. He didn't feel like a guardian. He didn't feel powerful. He felt like a normal kid who had cut his hand. But the band on his wrist pulsed softly, like it was encouraging him. His father put a hand on his back. Cade, we should go back to the chamber. They walked together. The chamber was still glowing. The map appeared again, but this time the dark point that represented the enemy ship was dimmer, still present, but less threatening. A message appeared. The Guardian bloodline is active once more. Threats may rise again. Prepare for guidance. Cade looked at the band. Do I have to fight something? The chamber answered. You have a choice. Train and unlock the knowledge of the Guardians, or walk away and remain as you are. His father looked at him, not with fear, but with trust. Whatever you choose, I'm with you. Cade took a deep breath. He looked at the map again. Some points of light were bright and strong. Others were almost gone, like they were fading. The galaxy seemed huge, filled with mysteries, and somewhere out there, more ancient enemies were sleeping. He closed his eyes for a moment. He didn't want fear to decide for him. When he opened his eyes, he felt certain. I want to learn. If the Guardians protected people before, then I want to do the same. The chamber glowed brighter, accepting his decision. The band tightened slightly on his wrist, fitting him perfectly. The system spoke its final message. Training protocol initiated. A new Guardian rises. Cade smiled. His father smiled back. The alien workers outside cheered. Even the alien teens clapped with excitement. The ancient chamber doors closed gently behind Cade as he stepped forward to begin his new path. Far across the galaxy, other ancient signals flickered to life, responding to Cade's awakening. Something old was beginning again, and so was Cade's journey.